In 2022, more than 5,700 chip companies went bankrupt in China, which is 70% more than in 2021. On average, about 16 chip companies go bankrupt every day. Do you think this is too many? Well, not that much actually. Because during the same period, there were more than 62,000 newly established chip companies, which is 30% more than in 2021. Yes, in China, a lot of money and a large number of companies are rushing into the semiconductor field. But has the industry thrived as a result? Unfortunately, it seems not. Breakthrough technologies have not been reported, and the quantity has dropped by 11.6%. China produces an average of 100 million chips less per day. Then, why did the newly added 62,000 companies join this field? I guess most of it is because of favorable policies, or subsidies. After all, there may not be 60,000 real experts in this field, but China is a 1.3 trillion chip market, and there are too many opportunities in it. As we all know, the blood of industry is oil, the food of industry is chips. However, for a long time, China's imports of chips even exceeded that of oil. China's chip shortage has been going on for many years. Since more than 10 years ago, some Chinese experts have suggested that China attach importance to the chip industry and increase investment. However, as a result of increasing investment over the past decade, we have not seen any chip problems solved or any technological breakthroughs made. Instead, China's investment in semiconductors has become a feast and carnival of capital. In short, China's current semiconductor development environment is very chaotic. If this problem remains unresolved, China's semiconductors will stay in the cold winter forever. In fact, in order to solve stranglehold technologies, the Chinese government has been working so hard over the years, and investing hundreds of billions of yuan to drag semiconductor industry out of the mud. However, the Chinese government chose the wrong people. November 2021, Gao Songtao, former vice president of Sino IC Capital, was suspected to be involved in insider trading of listed chip companies and taken away for investigation. In mid-July 2022, a number of senior leaders from National Integrated Circuit Industry Fund were taken away for investigation. Only then did China government realize that the large fund they established to break through the technological blockade of Europe and the United States and realize independent chip production has become a platform full of corruption. In today's video, let's talk about how the Chinese government destroyed its own semiconductor industry. Why is it so difficult for China's semiconductor industry to surpass Europe and the United States? I mean, why is China's speed failing in semiconductor development? Okay, that and more is exactly what we are going to talk about. Let's get started. In order to promote the development of the integrated circuit industry, Big Fund was established in September 2014. The scale of the first phase of the Big Fund exceeded 130 billion yuan. The second phase of the fund was established in October 2019 with a scale of more than 200 billion yuan. In recent years, many large-scale semiconductor projects have been launched, and semiconductor investment projects with an investment amount of more than billions of yuan have been launched in various places. But news such as unfinished completion and shutdown have frequently appeared. Looking back at the companies invested by the Big Fund, it seems that we haven't seen what technology has been broken through because of the Big Fund's investment. From this perspective, the Big Fund is not successful. Besides, the Big Fund has not promoted the local substitution of chip manufacturing and materials, such as photoresist. Compared with developed countries, equipment and materials are the obvious shortcomings of China's semiconductor industry. In other words, the Big Fund seems to be just a tool for speculating in stocks and causing volatility in the capital market. However, what is more troublesome is the demonstration effect of Big Fund. If Big Fund can do this, then why those rich companies inside and outside the semiconductor industry cannot do so? Anyway, investing in all companies, and finally wait for the listing to cash out. For example, just like what Big Fund has done, Xiaomi has invested in almost all semiconductor fields, But these investments are not very effective in the semiconductor field that requires a lot of capital to break through the core technology. This shows a situation, under the sanctions of the United States, it is very difficult for China to break through the advanced manufacturing process. The fact that China relies heavily on imports of chips has not changed. In 2021, the global semiconductor output value will be $558.5 billion. According to Chinese customs information, China imported $400 billion in chips, accounting for about 2/3. As Huawei has been repeatedly cut off from supply, it has stimulated the enthusiasm for research and development and patriotism throughout China. At present, mobile phone manufacturers, internet giants, entrepreneurs, and home appliance manufacturers are rushing into the research and development of chips. From 2020 to the present, there are tens of thousands of newly established microelectronics companies in China, and 90% of the companies just went for temporary enthusiasm, and they have not done chip design, manufacturing or packaging and testing at all. Of the remaining 10%, 9% are pulling investment and receiving subsidies, and the remaining 1% are actually doing things. Because China's market is so big, when a project is very popular, everyone wants to come in and share a piece of the cake. Coupled with China's strong support for companies in the semiconductor industry, interest-free for up to 10 years, the government also expects to invest $1.4 trillion in the development of the semiconductor industry. In the face of big investment and big interests, some unethical companies will also sneak in at this time, and behind it is revealed an industrial atmosphere that is eager for quick success. The problem is that some things can't be bought with money. Without the awe of science and respect for scientists, how could it be possible to create chips? It will only create a new wave of liars. Since China has been making chips crazily for a few years, let's take a look at the current status of the industry at China and abroad. On the one hand, Chinese domestic design companies are frantically cutting down on orders. Not only small companies have a hard time, but even listed companies and large companies with sales of more than 1 billion yuan are frowning. On the other side, international design companies have made high-profile orders. AMD's quarterly report stated that it must pay a total of $6.5 billion in advance payments to suppliers, such as TSMC and GlobalFoundries. Giants such as Qualcomm and Nvidia also spent huge sums of money to lock in production capacity in advance. At the same time, international foundries have raised their foundry prices across the board. Some TSMC customers have received notices of price increases, with an increase of 6%, while TSMC just raised prices in August last year. However, the production capacity of some processes in China's domestic foundry companies has been idle. Living in the same world, different as night and day, there is a stark contrast between the hot and the cold. International companies are thriving, while China's domestic competition is repeated at a low level, falling into the low-end trap. The world semiconductor market is like a football, with little low-end, large mid-end, and little high-end. And China's supply is more like a pyramid, with a lot of low-end, a little mid-range, and almost no high-end. From low-end to mid-end and high-end, there are very insurmountable barriers, which is where China's 300 billion gap lies. And this giant barrier is not caused by lack of money. Okay, returning to the industry anti-corruption storm we mentioned at the beginning, the news of the investigation of a number of big fund-related persons has attracted great attention, especially for the future investment in China's chip industry, which may have more profound influence. This also shows that China's current promotion of the semiconductor industry may have some phased changes, and the management has become more and more strict. I hope this is a good start. Well, thanks for your listening, and please be free to put your comments below and share your insightful ideas. Your precious time with us is highly appreciated. See you.